Today, it's the Cape Town Import Race presented by V&A Waterfront, the second import challenge of the 14th edition of the Ocean Race. Our 5 teams have enjoyed the spirited welcome here in Cape Town since arriving 12 days ago after a 7,000-mile journey south to the tip of Africa. Leg 1 and 2 took the fleet south here to Cape Town. 5 more legs to go, and with the breeze today looking good for an import race, these sailors are desperate to get as many points as they can. This could feature strongly in the tiebreak of the overall scoreboard. Let's have a look at what the racetrack is going to be for the Cape Town import race presented by V&A Waterfront. It is going to be a square course right in front of the city here, beginning with a reaching start. That is going to put the boats right up to speed as soon as the gun fires. From there, well, it's a chance for our teams to outsmart their rivals before everything gets tricky, as multiple corners will test our sailors' ability to adapt and find the perfect balance between, well, speed and maneuverability. Table Mountain, it's a big feature here visually, but it is a big feature in the wind as well. Do we think that it's going to cause some inconsistency with the breeze?
Well, the forecast was for south-southwesterly, and we've heard that it's turned a little bit further left. But Table Mountain's the main feature, but we can see in this image now we've got Lion's Head, which is just a feature on the racecourse as well, and it allows that wind to funnel around, causing areas of acceleration.
Just on board here with Kevin. One eye behind with 11th Hour Racing Team. And it's interesting, Dee, there's a lot of manoeuvrability there. There's a lot of jostling for position, and it looks like Team Holcim-PRB wants to be to leeward here.
Well, they're trying to get that ideal position. They want to line up so that they can control the racecourse. They want to be to weather of everybody so that they can get the wind that's clean and leave everybody else with their dirty wind from their sails. So they're all trying to push each other out the way, make sure they've got control of that start line.
It looked like there was a mark just getting in the way here. I think that's Mark 3. It's not a mark at the moment, but it almost looked like perhaps Biotherm just in the distance there might have just hooked that mark. And indeed, they turn up to turn out of the way. And there we go, confirmation as we go on board with Biotherm. That foil, I mean, the sailors, they're so used to looking in front. I mean, we see this a lot. There's so much sticking out the side of these boats. They have hooked up Mark 3 on the racetrack. 4 of our mockers about to cross the start line here at the beginning of the import race in Cape Town. And GUYOT Environment Team Europe certainly bow forward. How close to the line they were. Well, there we go, reaching all the way over the top of 11th Hour Racing Team. We've seen Charlie Enright getting those starts wrong before at the pin end, and once again the Americans are on the back foot. Holcim-PRB, look at that to windward. They are up on the foils. They've already got that boat tuned and flying. Take care now to see the bow. Does it dip back down? Do they come back down, crashing down? But the difference in speed here of that windward boat, they've taken the breeze now of Robert Stanczyk and Benjamin Dutroux. GUYOT Environment Team Europe is languishing behind, and that goes to show the power of starting to windward.
Definitely. Now, GUYOT Environment had Olympians on board. That's why their time on distance was so good. But it's the pure speed of Holcim-PRB that really has shown the rest of the fleet.
Incredible flying here from Team Holcim-PRB. The lead that they have pulled out, barely this race has been running for 1 minute. Team Holcim-PRB are finally doing everything right in the import race. This is where it can all go wrong. This yellow and white mark here. And Team Holcim-PRB, you can see, holding high of the direct line to that mark. That's because they know that as they bear away and start pointing toward that mark, the boat is going to lift up. They're going to hit that magical angle where the boat powers up, and they need to give themselves that wiggle room. And now it looks like they have held that course from that mark. So they are pretty confident that there's best breeze in front.
Ready? Ready?
So listening in on Holcim-PRB, they're about to go for a manoeuvre.
Diving here. I just one dive. Go, 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 go.
Watch the top of the J3, watch the top of that forward sail. It needs to unfurl neatly. It's certainly looking like Team Malizia is trying to sail low. They're trying to put that bow down as we go on board now. And we can see Benjamin Dutroux.
Let's go.
They've seen 11th Hour Racing Team setting up for the jibe.
I think we might see some synchronised sailing here with the jibes in synchronisation as they both turn.
There we go. One jibes, the other follows. GUYOT Environment Team Europe, they know that because they let in 11th Hour Racing Team onto their leeward side and Charlie Enright got the inside turn at Mark 1, it was going to play out this way. There was nothing really that GUYOT Environment Team Europe could do. The rotation would naturally put 11th Hour Racing Team on top. But as you were saying, Dee, look at Team Malizia here. If Team Malizia can get some breeze and sail down to Mark 2, they might also slip inside.
Now they're coming up on the breeze.
Here.
You can see
Dee, I was just going to say, Dee, sorry, I was just going to say, because you know these boats so well. I mean, flying that high, what is it like being on board and trying to hold on?
Well, we talk about wearing life jackets at sea, but you feel like you need a parachute because you're riding that much higher above the water. It takes a while to get used to it, and I think that's where the momentum that we're struggling with them talking about life on board. But what's really difficult, you saw them flying high and then you saw them crash down. That's what they want to avoid. Now we've got the 3 boats coming down. We've got 11th Hour Racing coming down to that mark, and then they're going to slowly come up on the breeze. They're in good pressure here. You can see them heeling nicely, and then that's going to increase. And this is where Holcim-PRB actually slowed down a little.
It just goes to show the difference in the breeze. I mean, you've got 11th Hour Racing Team, GUYOT Environment Team Europe, Team Malizia, and they're all at different stages of heel. They're only a few boat lengths apart, but the wind for them very different. And you just saw Charlie Enright on the helm of 11th Hour Racing Team take the boat a little bit too high as they came round that mark. But that was tactically. Compare that course with GUYOT Environment Team Europe now coming round. 11th Hour Racing Team sacrificed speed there to get into a strong windward position. Now another jibe, hopefully going smoothly. Team Holcim-PRB yet to make any mistakes. Amazing how much these boats slow down and then kick right back up to full speed once the jibe is completed. 11th Hour Racing Team reaching hard now over the top, getting towards Mark 1, and they need... Now, right at this point, Dee, I mean, I think if you're an Amoca geek, shall we say, both foils are in the water, and actually both are being used. They seem to be foiling on both of them.
Yeah, they have achieved liftoff there, I think we could say quite safely.
GUYOT Environment Team Europe, right now, they are slow. This is where the cruelty of the breeze. It's there for their competitors, and then, well, Robert Stanczyk and Benjamin Dutroux don't get the gust.
They are fighting... No way!
You can hear the frustration in Benjamin's voice there when he was just saying, and they're foiling and we're not. The frustration is there, just that short distance between the 2 boats, and there's a different wind speed.
Team Holcim-PRB still in the lead. 11th Hour Racing Team in 2nd place, and this fleet starting to get stretched out here with Team Malizia in 3rd, GUYOT Environment Team Europe in 4th, and of course Biotherm heading back to port after not being able to start after tangling up with one of the course marks before the start. The teams right now, the challenge for the teams right now is just the breeze. It almost feels like the positioning, the order on the race course has kind of been established. It's just a question of whether they're going to throw it away. But look at the dark patch on the water. 11th Hour Racing Team going upwind at the moment in comparatively light winds, but at the top right-hand side of your screen, Team Malizia blasting through that gust with GUYOT Environment Team Europe behind. I bet Benjamin Dutroux and Robert Stanczyk, they will be feeling cheated a little bit here, and they will be desperately trying to chase down Boris Herrmann.
They're coming into the mark now.
Team Malizia round, and it's a close rounding. The only other boat that we've seen do a rounding that tight, well, I mean, on paper, certainly the rounding that you want was 11th Hour Racing Team, but it does sacrifice a little bit of speed. But it looks like Team Malizia, round, comfortable. That J2 is in, both foils out and deployed. That seems to be the norm for the import race. Team Holcim-PRB still in the lead with 11th Hour Racing Team in 2nd place. Team Malizia in third, a long way back, and GUYOT Environment Team Europe in fourth as we get into the final closing stages of the Cape Town import race presented by V&A Waterfront. There were moments where Kevin Escoffier looked a little bit slow. There were moments where 11th Hour Racing Team tried to close down. But I think at this point right now, with just a bear away, not a tack to go, a safe manoeuvre of a bear away, as long as those foils are clear of that mark, I don't want to jinx anything here for the team, but Team Holcim-PRB now round, and Abby Ehler on the bow pointing towards the finish line. And this really is the turnaround from Alicante. But this really is the big story. Kevin Escoffier and Team Holcim-PRB, it was a phenomenal start off that line, stealing the breeze of everybody. And now they cross the finish line in the Cape Town import race presented by V&A Waterfront. And they take the maximum 5 points. Quite the turnaround from their performance at the first import race in Alicante.
When you're a sailor, there is a few places in the world where you would like to race, and I think the Bay of Cape Town is one of it. I feel good. I don't know if you remember, but in Alicante, the first import race, we had a good start. We were quite ahead at the third mark, and then no wind, and it has been pretty difficult to live, I would say. So for me, it was very important. This morning, you know, I woke up and I was very motivated in order to do a great result on this one. So even if it doesn't count, you know, I love to enjoy being on the water, and when we are competitors, we prefer to be in front than behind.